get it. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the SchuZ Show. Hope you guys are all having a phenomenal day. Now, maybe it's going to be Thursday for you guys. Now, I hope you guys are having a great Thursday as well. But with that being said, though, we got the audio working well. Perfect. So with that being said, I hope you guys are having a phenomenal Thursday. If it is a wrap to you as Wednesday, as it is for myself, hopefully you guys are having a great Wednesday as well. I'm just going to kick it off as I always do. If there are any comments, questions, topics, or things that you want me to discuss on today's show, leave it in the chat. I'll make sure to address them as I go throughout the duration of today's show. Let's get the camera. There we go. The camera's finally lined up then. All right, let's get right back to it. So make sure to do that. Obviously, y'all can see the jersey. Yes, I'm representing the Yankees even after they just lost tonight. Obviously, I was up doing that, watching that game, and then breaking that down. Unfortunate, but I will say Mr. Aaron Judge did quite the performance there this past weekend and in this entire series. So no blame on him. I still want to represent the jersey and rock that on today's show. But let's get right to it. So no guest is going to be on today's show. It's going to be straight boxing news, and I'm going to kick it off with one thing. Something that is honestly quite shocking to me, but I have multiple different facets I want to discuss. And here's the news, and I'm going to give you guys my thoughts on it. Breaking news, after Efe Ajagba, Zheli Zhang, Martin Bakole, Ajiet Caballel, Philip Hrgovic, Mosey Toma, and Richard Torres Jr. declined an IBF heavyweight title eliminator versus Frank Sanchez, Daniel Dubois has accepted. Shocking. Now, I'm going to make this very first point right here. A lot of people out there are bashing Daniel Dubois for getting an immediate title eliminator when he just lost his world championship to Alexander Usyk just a handful of months ago. And for him to go immediately get another world title shot or with the eliminator is shocking. A lot of people are upset by that. But let me make this very clear. How are you faulting Daniel Dubois? Many names, I just listed the entire name, decided to turn down the fight with Frank Sanchez for an IBF title eliminator. Once again, Efe Ajagba, Zheli Zhang, Martin Bakole, Caballel, Hrgovic, Itoma, and Richard Torres Jr. all declined an opportunity to fight Frank Sanchez for the IBF title eliminator. And so up next on that list was Daniel Dubois. So I don't want to hear people complaining. Why is Daniel Dubois getting another world title eliminator shot after he just lost his world championship to Alexander Usyk? Why? Because all these other guys decide to duck or not want to fight Frank Sanchez for one reason or another. And so somebody had to step up to the plate. And as they go down the list for the IBF, guess who stepped up? Daniel Dubois. So instead of people bashing Daniel Dubois for getting this big opportunity immediately, how about we actually start to applaud Daniel Dubois for saying, you know what? Even though all these other heavyweight guys don't want to take this fight for some reason, I will step to the plate. I want to stay active, and I want to get right back in the ring and prove myself. I'm honestly going to give a round of applause to Daniel Dubois in the situation. I've got no problems with it. It's not his fault that everybody else declined it. So let's stop bashing Daniel Dubois and actually let's flip that mentality and actually put into place a mentality of saying, you know what? Good job, Daniel Dubois. Way to take whatever God's given you, way to step up to the plate, and way to take this fight. I've got no issue with it at all. It's not like they just randomly chose Daniel Dubois. They went down a very long list. Everybody declined. Daniel Dubois stepped up. Get over it, folks. My second part to this is this aspect. What are all these guys doing? Now, a couple guys I'll give a excuse for. I'll kind of give them a little bit of pardon for not wanting this fight from a financial standpoint. If you're of the names like a Zheli Zhang, a Martin Bakole, a Mosey Toma, even Caballel, I'll say him as well, I can understand them not wanting to go out there and take that fight. Why, you might ask? Because they have the opportunity to go out there and fight for much more money. Frank Sanchez is somebody that most casual fans do not know. He is an opportunity that guys know they could probably go out there and beat. However, financially, it does not make a lot of sense for them. But what I am going to emphasize is, why did Efe Ajagba not take the fight? Why did Philip Hrgovic not take the fight? And why did Richard Torres Jr. not take the fight? Specifically, I want to take a moment right now to emphasize what is Richard Torres Jr. doing right now. You had an interesting performance a few months back against Villio, and since that point, you're not active. Listen, American heavyweights suck right now. We don't have a name. It is up for the taking of whoever wants to be the next guy of this generation. The guy that I'm the most high on currently that's under 30 is Joshua Edwards. I like what he's doing. I like the way he's moving, but he's still a long ways out from actually competing for world championships. The only two guys that's somewhat in their mix, if you will so call it, that are under 30 is Jared Anderson and Richard Torres Jr. But for Richard Torres Jr., I don't know about you, but I'm at least asking this question, where are you? What's going on right now? You have an opportunity against a man in Frank Sanchez who I do believe is beatable. This is not a guy that is like anybody I just listed. Frank Sanchez is a beatable man at heavyweight, and you would have had yourself an opportunity to fight for a title eliminator. Doesn't mean you have to go fight for a world title right away, but it puts you in that position. Is a big fight, would be a main event type of situation, all these different aspects. Why would you not take that opportunity? That's baffling to me. Absolutely baffling. If you're Richard Torres Jr., you probably should have taken that fight, stop slowly building yourself up, and just go for the taking. See what you're made out of. See what you're capable of doing. You have the opportunity to go out there and take the reins as the next great American heavyweight, or at least the next face of the American heavyweight division, whatever that means, and he just butchered it. I'm shocked. I like Richard Torres Jr. He's a good guy. I like the way he fights. He's entertaining. I just don't understand why they did not take this fight. This was a perfect layup opportunity for him to build his name, resume, get himself some real experience, so on and so forth. And for one reason or another, Richard Torres Jr. decides not to take the fight. I don't get it. Maybe you guys have another opinion, and if you guys do, leave that in the chat because I'm confused. I don't understand why he would not go out there and take this fight. It made too much sense for him to go out there and take the fight. He decided not to. I don't know. I don't get it. The entire situation is weird, but round of applause to Dubois for stepping up to the plate and taking this fight. Frank Martin will officially return to the ring versus former world champion Rances Barthelemy on the Sebastian Fundora versus Keith Thurman undercard on October 25th. I know this was already rumored. I kind of addressed it before, but it's now official. Frank Martin is back. I think this is good for himself. I don't know why he took this long outside of the ring. I think he should have been in there a little bit quicker to continue to build up his name. But listen, he is a fun fighter. He gave Tank a run for his money. He looked very good in the early rounds there, obviously before getting KO'd. I don't think he ever would have beat Tank, but he still looked good. And I think it's good to see him back in the ring. I'm excited to see Frank Martin back in the ring. I think he can build himself back up now at 140, so I'm very excited for that. Here's a very interesting one. Ryan Garcia says he wants Mario Barrios next. I like where he's thinking here. Listen, I've been very vocal about this. I don't like to get disrespectful, but I do believe that this is a fact. When you look at all the world champions in boxing today, I do firmly believe that when you go by talent and positionally and the way that they fight in the ring, that Mario Barrios is the worst champion in boxing currently. I don't want to be disrespectful. I just think that is the fact right now. And I think he proved that when he fought Manny Pacquiao. He didn't bring a good fight. He lost to Manny Pacquiao, who had not won a fight since 2019, and yet Manny Pacquiao should have won that fight there. My own personal opinion, but it is what it is. When I look at Mario Barrios, he's a guy that's very beatable. And if you're Ryan Garcia, I think you look at that fight, and if you are truly confident in yourself that you were injured or something was happening against Rolly Romero, something mentally, physically, I don't know what it was, but if you believe that was just a fluke and you have overcome that and that you can be the Ryan Garcia of old, I do believe that Ryan Garcia should look at this opportunity and say, you know what? I do have the big brand. I have the name and the image where I can bring money into a fight where it's going to appeal a world champion to come out there and fight me. And so if you're Ryan Garcia, I think you angle yourself and you say, you know what? That's the man I want. Manny Pacquiao had first dibs. It appears Manny Pacquiao is taking the Rolly Romero fight. Therefore, Mario Barrios is wide open. If you are Ryan Garcia and you firmly do believe that you can overcome the fluke that happened on Cinco de Mayo weekend in Times Square card, then I would go after Mario Barrios. That is a winnable fight. If you're Ryan Garcia and you can flip the switch and be the Ryan Garcia that we saw against Devin Haney without the PEDs, obviously, and the Ryan Garcia of old, I believe that without a shadow of a doubt that Ryan Garcia can go out there and take that belt from Mario Barrios. No ifs, ands, or buts about that. And just to point that out there, if that it does happen, Ryan Garcia fights Barrios, becomes the world champion, you guys see what could happen? What's going down November 22nd? What's going down? Devin Haney, Brian Norman Jr. If all goes according to plan, Devin Haney could upset Brian Norman Jr., and then you would have a unification and a rematch between Ryan Garcia and Devin Haney in that fight right there. Just going to point that out there. That would be a huge opportunity. But yes, if you are Ryan Garcia, go after Mario Barrios. That's the man I would be targeting. That's the man I think everybody at 147 should have their eyes locked in on because that's the man you want to fight. I think anybody or a lot of guys would have a good shot at beating Mario Barrios. And if you're Ryan Garcia and you can bring and kind of turn the clock back a little bit to where you were actually in your groove, that is the fight that I think he should go all in on. Frank Warren has confirmed that Tyson Fury will make a boxing comeback in 2026. Is this shocking to anybody? I don't think so. I think everybody in this live and anybody that's going to listen to this video knew fully well that Tyson Fury was not going to retire when he said he's going to retire. Why, you might ask? Because Tyson Fury has done this a gazillion times before. This is not shocking news, nor is this new news. We knew Tyson Fury would come back, and here's the thing. If you're Tyson Fury, you have to return for a big payday. That must be Anthony Joshua. I don't want any other fight. Return summer 2026 after AJ does his tune-up fight. Make the fight happen at Wembley. I say this every single time, and I'm not going to stop saying this because it needs to happen. Ben Whittaker Matchroom debut has now been set. Light heavyweight prospect Ben Whittaker will make his Matchroom debut at the end of November in the UK against a top 15 opponent. Eddie Hearn has confirmed to the Ariel Helwani show. Love it. Keep the kid active. Get him in there with a good competition. If you're going to look at a name, I think Craig Richards is the guy you're going to look at right there. I would not be shocked to see that name get listed as to who he's going to fight. But yes, get him active. Get him back in the ring. I'm hyped to go out there and see that. David Benavidez says he's got 15 years left before retirement. He's planning 5 years at light heavyweight, 5 at cruiserweight, and possibly closing out his career at heavyweight. Hey, now, you don't really plan things 15 years out. That's a little bit crazy. However, if we're going to be honest, is he capable of doing that? I don't know. He would then be, let me look at the exact age right now. Let me look at his name. I don't know exactly how old he is at the moment. What is he at? He is 28 years old. That means he's going to be, oh, wow. He's going to turn 29 years old in December, meaning that this man would be fighting until he's almost 45 years old. It's possible. Yeah, I mean, it's possible, but I don't know if that's going to last that long. But David Benavidez, I like the idea. Obviously, I don't think he's ever going to go back down to 168. He's going to make his mark at 175, then move to cruiserweight. And if he moves to heavyweight, it'd be good for boxing. So for David Benavidez saying this, I'm a little bit shocked. Because listen, David Benavidez saying he wants 15 more years in boxing before retirement, puts him in his early 40s. And on top of that, he wants to fight 5 years at light heavyweight, 5 years at cruiserweight, and then close out his career, assuming the 15 years is accurate, 5 years at heavyweight. Now, those are lofty expectations. I'm not going to sit up here and say like this is what he actually means, because when it's a boxing, you don't know what could happen inside that ring. And 15 years is a very long time to plan out in front of you. But the mindset there is intriguing to me. And if this is accurate, I think he's going to be very good at light heavyweight. I think he can compete at cruiserweight today. I don't think he would beat Jai Bataya, but I think he'd be very competitive and possibly beat every other cruiserweight. And then heavyweight, that is long down the road, but still, if he's able to accomplish this, that resume would be phenomenal, because there's lots of big names and big fights to make at those 3 weight classes. And if he can accomplish all that on top of what he accomplished at 168, we're talking about a man that would have one special resume for David Benavidez Jr. So I would love to see the opportunity happen for himself. We'll see if it ends up happening. The International Boxing Federation, or obviously IBF, has formally mandated IBF number 5 Raeese Aleem and IBF number 7 Nakano to compete in an IBF number 1 Featherweight World Title Eliminator bout. Much deserved release. Aleem has been on the show before. I'm happy to see him get the opportunity. I know he's been working for that, trying to get that opportunity. I think he deserves it. That'd be a solid fight as well. Last thing I want to get into on today's show, because I don't see any more comments in the chat, is this. Naoya Inoue. Now, there's some interesting news coming out of this right now, is that Naoya Inoue is now in a position where he is saying that he's experiencing the worst muscle soreness of his entire career. Inoue is currently slated to return to the ring on December 27th in Riyadh. It would be Inoue's 4th bout of 2025. All right. Very important to look at this news right here. Naoya Inoue deserves his flowers. This is a man that stays active. He's at the tail end of his peak career, I would say, and he's still fighting 4 times in a year, defending his undisputed world championships. It's unprecedented. Nobody else in boxing today moves like this man does. Defending your belt 4 times in 1 calendar year is insane in today's era of boxing. So he deserves his credit. And I'm not shocked to see that he's experiencing muscle soreness. He's experienced the type of things at his age and as active as he is. Those are not shocking things to see. But what I will say is this. Is it smart for him to continue at this pace? I know we said previously, this was about 4 or 5 months ago, that he only plans on fighting until maybe the end of next year or the following year. I forget what it was exactly. And that wouldn't shock me, because you're talking about with the pace he's currently at, that could be anywhere between 4 to 8 more fights. Makes plenty of sense. But what I will say is this. A lot of the toll that he's been going through in his boxing career is likely going to start building up in his career. And so is moving at this pace still sustainable for himself? I can't answer that question. I don't know his body. I don't know him that way. That's up to his team to decide. I respect the heck out of Inoue. I think he moves differently than every other boxer today. He deserves an immense amount of respect for being a throwback fighter in that aspect. But does it make the most sense for him to continue at this pace? That is to be determined. But yes, he is dealing with experiencing the worst muscle soreness of his career. Obviously, still has a couple months until he has to go out there and fight in his main event in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. So we'll see what happens there. But yes, Inoue is experiencing the worst muscle soreness of his career. I'll keep you guys posted on any other news that comes out of that. Hopefully, he's able to recover quite well and nothing happens to the December 27th card. With that being said, though, I hope you guys are having a great rest of your guys' day. I will be back live tomorrow, and I'll see you guys at that point in time because I don't see any more comments in the chat. So that'll be wrapping up today's show. Hope you guys have a blessed rest of your guys' day. I'll see you guys back live tomorrow. May God bless you guys all. Have a great rest of your guys' day, and I'll see you guys back tomorrow. God bless you guys. With that being said, SchuZ out.